Everything that seems like the biggest challenge, I go right into that fire pit.
Yeah. And try
it. But from the day I was born, David, I don't know if it comes from that scarcity of Marintal and not having a lot of opportunities and seeing that if we all share, if you help the next person, we can all benefit instead of just one person, benefiting. And one of my songwriters, actually, and Post Trustco star performer, I've founded and directed Song Night Namibia. One of my beloved gospel singers, Yalvin, said, while everybody is fighting for the mic, Lize Ehlers is giving the mic away. You can be surrounded by your beautiful family. You can be surrounded by all your awards. You can be surrounded by the best fashion and the most gorgeous places. But if you're not deeply fulfilled by your own existence, it's a deep loneliness that nobody can describe.
Hello everybody and welcome to Uninterrupted with me, David Mbeha. I am sitting down with singer, songwriter, producer, director, poet. She has done it all in the industry, you name it, she's done it. The one and only Lize Ehlers.
Hi David.
Hello.
It's great to be here.
We were having a conversation the other day and I said to you, you are one person that is not scared of like trying out something new.
Yes.
Would be it DJ or you're doing poetry or now you're going to be directing a film or in theater.
Yes.
How does that boldness come about?
I was looking through when you and I were chatting a little bit at the Good Food market. I went back in my mind as to our start, way back when.
Yes.
And I just thought to myself, sure, it really does take a village, to own up to all the stuff that you want to do in life. And I think just coming from Marintal, and there was this sense of scarcity.
Yes.
I was always at the realm of share everything. And in that scarcity versus my own abundance, I recognized, you can actually do everything in your life that you want to do. But I know that sounds like a very big jump between two things, but it literally was born from scarcity that I've wanted to see, can I do this? And if I practice a bit of discipline and rehearsal and time, can I actually master this? And that's actually what I do with my life. Everything that seems like the biggest challenge, I go right into that fire pit
and try
it. And obviously, you can't be good at everything, but you can apply yourself and become great at a few things.
Yes, and sometimes whether it's just doing something for the sake of enjoying it, it doesn't need to be that, I want to be now the greatest DJ, but I just enjoy music and I enjoy playing and I enjoy interacting with people, because sometimes I feel like people have the mentality of, if I'm going to try it, it needs to be like
a master, the master, sensei, oracle.
Yes.
I can just applaud Drag Night Namibia for bringing me out of my shell and giving me the platform to become DJ Lize Ehlers, right? Because during COVID, my husband always listened. We've been married almost 17 years, and he always listened when I said, I think I want to become a DJ one day. Like when the stars align, I want to learn how to DJ. And then during COVID, when I couldn't sing, when I couldn't be a performer, he actually bought me a deck. And that Christmas, and with the help of our son Carl, who's Morenga, I started to become a DJ, and with the help of Drag Night Namibia, I became the resident DJ at Drag Night, and the rest is history.
That's
now
beautiful.
I play like I've been playing for 30 years.
I know, because I got to experience you there, and I was like, the music is so good. I was like, when did she get the time to do this? And I jokingly asked, do you have the same 24 hours? Or
I love that.
That's beautiful. But I want to talk a little bit about how you and I met. Obviously, it was through Star Performers.
Yes.
You were one of the judges on that
Yes.
competition. And I feel like for me, it's like, how do I explain it? It's the thread of your life is to sort of nurture, coach, bring in new talent into the industry. Is that something that you have realized and picked up on as well?
Can I just say you were magnificent the minute you stepped on that stage, and also you have the gap too, which is such a vibe and such a sign of how far you're going to travel in your life. The journey of the wind between your teeth is called a wind walker. But when you ask me now about, do I always have this nurturing, helping, supportive spirit from the day I was born, David? I don't know if it comes from that scarcity of Marintal and not having a lot of opportunities and seeing that if we all share, if you help the next person, we can all benefit instead of just one person, benefiting. And one of my songwriters, actually, and post Trustco Star Performer, I've founded and directed Song Night Namibia. One of my beloved gospel singers, Yalvat, said, while everybody is fighting for the mic, Lize Ehlers is giving the mic away. And that has been synonymous with my life. Like, everybody's fighting for the same crumbs, but why don't we just all bake loaves and loaves of bread together, and we all eat together, and we all make memories together?
Yeah. That makes me then wonder about your upbringing. Where did you get that kind of spirit? Is it something that came from, be it coming from a small town or something that was instilled in you from your parents? But where do you think it originates from?
Such an interesting question. I think it's maybe from the double trouble life that I've had. Double trouble meaning my father and his brother married my mother and her sister. So the two brothers married the two sisters and both had 7 children. And as a result, there was this double. They built our houses with their own hands. My father built ours, my uncle built theirs, next to each other. Everything was kind of shared. Like this house, we would always have Christmas at that house, the family would come over. Everything was there's always 14 people around you. And that's your nuclear family, right? Your nucleus environment. And I think it came from you just have to work as a group. Because if you don't work together, it falls apart.
Yes.
But funny enough, I mean, now that I'm in my 30s, I get a sense that I need to become a little bit more selfish. And that's a tough lesson to learn past 30, to learn how to become selfish, to learn how to be more disciplined towards myself. Because most of my adult life, I've either been raising my children or I've been trying to be a supportive wife to my husband. And I don't really know exactly what I love, what I like, what I really crave. And it's only in my 30s that I'm starting to understand, no, I'm maybe not a white wine person, I'm maybe not a red wine person, maybe I'm a Pinot Noir person, maybe I'm a rosé girl. And it's nice, I'm kind of excited to finally get to know myself, because I've only known myself through the eyes of others, but I would like to get to know myself through my own eyes.
That's beautiful, and it reminds me of a video that I was watching of this lady that said, now that I'm older, I don't need to pretend anymore. I can tell you, caviar doesn't taste good.
Just because
it's fancy. Like when you speak about, I'm going to have caviar, and
but
it's like. Now that I'm older, I don't want to pretend anymore. I actually don't like it.
I love that. I think that's
it's just
authentic.
owning and becoming more of who you are and falling into who you are. Do you think that's the point that you're coming into as you go into your 40s?
Yes, I think so. The next 2 years will be very definitive. It's going to define what the rest of my life will look like, David. like I said, I'll always be a respectful Namibian queen, because the vision was always, to once my children are done with school, which will be in the next 2 to 3 years, I have wanted to not emigrate to Germany, never. I will always be the Namibian queen who is a community leader, who stands up for the queer community, who, creates work. That's what I am. I create jobs and through the creative industry. But at the same time, having recognized that I do need to fill my cup more. I've been driving the same car for 15 years. It's all good and fine, but I want a new car. I deserve a new Mercedes-Benz, because that's the brand I drive.
I hope Mercedes is listening.
Mercedes, listen, talk, because I've taken care of my little beauty. Yeah. So I think my 40s, and I will be turning 40 on the 1st of January in 2 years. I don't even want to anticipate the years, but in 2 years I turn 40, and I definitely think that it's going to be a massive shift for me, because they say you must become a prophet in another land for your own land to truly take you seriously. And my land has given me my flowers. I've received my flowers from the Namibian Annual Music Awards when I won Best Female and Best Overall Artist in 2019. I've been crowned Best Actress in the country twice, 2007 and 2017. But it's not about those awards. I want my music to play everywhere, David. I want to feel proud of the products that I've created, and I do. But that feeling of, I know there's more in store from myself, for my community.
That's beautiful.
It feels nice to challenge yourself, or to have the audacity to want more. Because in the past, I've been very okay. I've been very content with not grabbing everything, But now I want more all of a sudden, and I think that's a healthy thing, to have a good appetite for life.
That's beautiful. A good appetite for life. I love that. And, I'm thinking you've done so much, obviously, in the industry. And it takes a lot for somebody to be unapologetic about where they've been and what they've achieved. There's something, I don't even think I've shared this with you or anybody. I remember the night of star performers, right? So remember the team had to go to Florida.
Yes.
And something in me, and I, for some weird reason, I just can't get over that whole period in my life, because I remember as they were calling out the names of the people that were going to be like the prize winners and all that, and I said a silent prayer, and I said, God, please do not choose me. And in that moment, I felt like I don't think I would be worthy of taking up a space like that. And even though everybody had told me, no, you're so talented, you're so good, inside me there was a battle. I felt like, first of all, I'm going to bring such a huge burden on my mother, who was already a single mother and already financially struggling to provide. And now if I come home and I say, I need to go to Florida, it's going to be another burden. So I said a silent prayer that night, and I was like, God, do not choose me. I don't think I'll be able to live up to that space and what it would require from me. When was the point in your life where you became unapologetic, be it about your music, poetry, or just anything that you do in life?
Can I just say what your testimony now just gave me goosebumps, because whether you went to Florida or not, it's you won. You really won. Because look at the presenter, the host, the person you are today, because of your humility in that moment, but also you were thinking of your single mother. And I think we're very similar in that aspect. We're always thinking about others and trying to serve. I think both of us, without me trying to assume, is that we have a serving nature. And that's such a beautiful thing, and I don't think it's something that we should ever lose. But at the same time, I do think it's time for us to just blossom in our own...
And be.
Yes, blossom and be. Because for me, it can also lead to a place of deep loneliness. You can be surrounded by your beautiful family. You can be surrounded by all your awards. You can be surrounded by the best fashion and the most gorgeous places. But if you're not deeply fulfilled by your own existence, it's a deep loneliness that nobody can describe. And I've had that, David, where I was like, I'm not supposed to feel lonely. I'm always surrounded by my
That doesn't make sense.
My family, my
Yeah.
drag queens, my mentor Sandy Rudd, my best friends.
Love Sandy Rudd.
You know, she's just a dream. But it's okay to feel lonely and to say, I want more. I want to be louder. I want to be crazier. I want to show more skin. There was also a big thing why I'm able to sit here with all my décolletage out, something I wouldn't necessarily have done a decade
And
or
that's
two
why
ago.
I have hair.
Exactly. You have the audacity to look like a god, like a lion king.
Yeah.
And for us to take up space like that is because we've recognized that somebody else shaming us or body shaming us or asking you, who do you think you are? You'll say, I think I'm exactly who I am.
Exactly.
I'm the daughter of a very hardworking set of parents. Yes, I lost my parents more than a decade ago, and it's so tough. Some days are tougher than others when I can't ask for a nice chubby hug or ask for advice. But in that same breath, I've become the parent figure in my siblings' lives. Although I'm the second youngest of 7 children, I've always assumed the mother role. And that's another, I guess, discussion. The mother wound, the mother figure or the paternal figure that we've had to assume.
Yes.
Maybe because of single parents, maybe because of no parents, maybe because of many becauses. And I've recognized this also in my work reflection, David. Like you said, I started out as a singer, songwriter, poet. I direct, I facilitate, and now becoming a DJ, and I just launched my first fashion line with Melissa Bolton. I recognize that me doing so many things, it's me trying to understand this void inside of me. And the void is not a void doesn't always have to be classified as a negative thing. It's a yearning. It's a yearning to create. It's a yearning to keep busy. It's a yearning to be understood by yourself, because I'm still searching to understand myself. And the only way I can do that is through being creative. And that's what I'm taking very seriously this year. I've already started to record new songs because I haven't dropped anything in years. Because there was also this moment after COVID where I said, slow down. Slow down. Even your yearning can wait. Because if you're exhausted 99% of the time, the things that you produce, they can't be of the quality or the level that you know yourself you're capable of creating. So you have gone through a lot of self-reflection lately. And it's beautiful and it's painful and it's mine. You know,
yours.
I can't expect somebody else to be going through the same thing at the same time, but I do know many people are going through it.
Yes, and I'm thinking now when you spoke about loneliness, I was like, I'm so glad you spoke about it, because I found myself in a similar situation. There was a point where I was on my way to Bali, just the most beautiful place.
Yes.
And I'm sitting on a plane, and Adele had just released her album 25.
Sure.
And I'm listening to Adele, and I'm crying all the way going to Bali. And I remember saying to myself, I am so lonely. Like, I am so... And a part of me was like struggling to say, you should be grateful. Do you know what you have right now? And just trying to reconcile the two. Like being in a place where if you look around, just say, I am so blessed.
Yes.
But I'm so lonely. And it's not even like you don't have people in your life. You know how it is sometimes when we film, we're surrounded by thousands of people, maybe it's wardrobe and all that. But for you, how were you able to reconcile the two worlds? That you can have it all and still?
A colleague of mine talked about the dance of duality. And it's so perfect as a description, where you're on your way to Indonesia, Bali, one of the most beautiful sort of holiday resorts, but at the same time you feel lonely, you feel like you need your person, or you don't even need your person, because I've recognized that I am my person. Like, it only dawned on me recently that I must become the biggest love of my life.
The one I've been waiting for.
I'm the one I've been waiting for, and it sounds so crazy and selfish, but David, you are the one you've been waiting for. So maybe in that moment, when you feel so lonely, when we feel so lonely, it's to take ourselves out and buy yourself a glass of bubbles, or if you don't drink, a lovely juice, and to sit on the beach and recognize how much you've survived and how much you still want to thrive, and to make that list that you still want to do. Because there's nothing wrong with recognizing that we want to live, we want to have big, gigantic lives, and nothing is ever going to be enough. And it's also lovely to know that you still want to chase things, you still want to climb the mountain, you still want to win the Oscar. And then there will be days where you will be sitting on the plane and crying because you're maybe also just exhausted.
Exactly.
I think it was a combination of exhaustion and recognizing you've already done so much. But I think we should all take ourselves more out on a date. Eat your favorite food. Do the things that make you happy. I came into this beautiful place where we're filming, and I see all the plants, and plants make me really happy. In fact, they don't only make me happy, they regulate my nervous system. And for me, as someone who's always, output based, it's nice to not be output based and just to give to my nervous system and say, I love watering my plants. I like propagating a new plant. I like my house to be filled with lots of plants. And some people will be like, Lize, we have bigger problems in the world than your plants. It's not about the bigger problems in the world. We're still fighting our fights. I'm furious at the Marriage Act of 2024 that has been passed, when I was, really sure that our interim president would not make big moves.
Decisions, okay.
But I feel betrayed, because I recently just won International Ally of the Year in Cape Town. And to be called an extraordinary ally, but for me not to almost have anticipated that an interim president could make such a huge decision for a community that's already marginalized. I have to go back to my plants to calm down, because I'm about to have a nervous breakdown. I can't do anything for the community other than calm myself so that I can
take care of yourself first before I
can prepare to take care of others, because I have a lot of drag children, and their safety is not only about looking nice and hair and makeup. It's about existence. Drag queens, trans people have been killed in this country, and as a mother of a community, as somebody who's been looked at as a mother, I have a big job. To keep my children safe. It's the first thing that I've done for my biological children, is to keep them safe, keep them fed, keep them clothed, and educate them. I have to do the same for my drag children, obviously in a different capacity.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. And for me, when I look at you, you've always been of service.
Yes.
And I think it's so powerful when somebody, whether it's using your status, using your platforms and the opportunities that have come to you to say, I'm going to use this to be a voice.
Yes.
When did you realize that this is not just about me directing, it's not about just putting out music, I need to find a bigger purpose to what I do?
Absolutely. It was a very definitive moment where I felt called. I think through creating Song Night, I was suddenly the leader of a huge organization that saw people's rawness, saw people's everyday lives, and they were trying to process what they were going through singing. And obviously the people who came to audition, there were a lot of queer performers. We hardly saw drag queens, but then eventually somebody like Gigi has arrived, in Rodilio Lewis, my co-CEO of Drag Night.
Yeah.
Rodilio Lewis calls Gigi has arrived the original Namibian drag queen. And for me, to have hosted Gigi has arrived at Song Night, something clicked. Something really clicked. I had been working with the queer community before. I've always been an ally, but the service element, the really extending myself and to be called mother from the house of mother, it was seeing how much talent is in the queer community and finding it absolutely unacceptable how a cisgender heterosexual man can just say, daai persoon is nie 'n mens nie, just because of their sexual orientation or how they identify, that you can reduce somebody to not being a person just because you don't agree with how they've been since they were born, but only had the courage to show it to the rest of the world when they were ready enough. And this is something I also emphasize on. It's nobody's position to out somebody else. It's only the person who's ready and in a safe environment with safe supporters who can say, listen, I'm coming out of the closet, or this is what I want to do. I want to do drag performances. And by the way, not all drag queens are gay. When I'm DJ Lize Ehlers, I'm a drag DJ, but I'm not gay.
Yeah.
And people need to recognize that you can't throw everybody into one box. And obviously what Trump is doing at the moment is breaking my heart into pieces. And you can never erase trans people. You can never erase people, whether they're immigrants or whatever. You can't erase people.
Yeah.
People have had lived lives and they will tell their lived stories.
Yeah. I mean, you have had your fair share of difficulties for being, whether it's an ally or just for being being outspoken.
Yes.
How have you been able to deal with the difficulties?
I would not have been able to deal with it had I not had the support system in my husband Hendrik, who is more than can I say a regular common husband. He is incredibly open-minded, deeply loving human being who is so open and smart and funny that he recognizes when he needs to just back off and let me be troubled and let me process what is happening with my queer brothers and sisters. And if I didn't have that man, most probably it would have been even more difficult. If I didn't have my children who are so easy, they recognize how happy I am in the queer scene, and to have opened our home for not only queer musicians, but musicians and performers of all reed and creed. They know that if I bring somebody into our house, it's a safe person. And for me, having that family, also having brothers and sisters who are, Lisa, we recognize that you are trying to make the world a safer place by being an outspoken ally or just being an outspoken Namibian. I can't stand it when I go to a Namibian event and there's not one single Namibian song playing. I always voice the fact that we need to build the Namibian house up first before we build the rest of the world up. And I think it's gotten me into hot water. You know, it's I mean, look at that night when I was almost thrown into jail by 10 policemen because I was wearing drag makeup. I was being a drag DJ, and they came to us and they wanted to throw me into jail. They wanted to throw all my equipment, my laptop, my Mac, my speakers, everything, just because they decided the event is illegal. I was like, what is illegal about this cultural event? Yes, it's a drag show, but nobody is naked. We have our sound permit, we have our liquor license, we have our permit from the police to have this event until 11 o'clock, but you are shutting us down at 8:30 p.m. because you don't like the look of us, or you don't like the idea of people expressing themselves and being authentically true to what they think is creative outlet. So I was almost arrested, and that was not the first and last time, but even with all my other stuff, I'm going to be much more authentic even from this day forward, because when I turned 38, it was like something clicked. And that was also the reason I cut off all my hair. I was like, I need to just start with a new perspective. And the perspective is that I have a story to tell. And the world will listen when you really want to share what needs to be shared from your side. I mean, I can't understand that Marienthal is still so underdeveloped, and that we don't have community gardens in my hometown or even here in Windhoek to see the increase in street kids, to see the increase in poverty and break-ins and killings and hijackings, because people are hungry. People are hungry, people are angry. And I don't understand, why can't we have a community garden in every regional council or in every town? What's keeping us from helping each other eat, helping each other grow? What is keeping us from being magnificently independent, happy and fine?
Yeah.
I'm asking myself all these questions because I love making art, but I can't make art if all my artists are hungry. It's really, really, and that's why I continue working with people like Sharon van Rooij. She opened a cafe called Craft Cafe Bellissima, and since 2024 I'm her agent to make sure that really good singing talent performs at her place. They get paid, they have a meal, we market it, we keep Namibia's name alive. And when international people come, they know that they can go to her place and find a stunning performer every weekend. So I'm just gonna continue with the things that make sense, stop doing the things that are just draining me, wasting my time. I've had to say no a lot. It's only January, but the level of saying no will also help with boundaries. I know boundaries is a big thing.
It's so funny you say that. We had Dinaf, and he spoke about not everything that is offered to you, you must eat. Exactly. And I thought that was really powerful and in line with what you're saying.
100%.
Yeah.
There was also saying, eat the meat, spit out the bones. You don't have to slip that whole thing into your throat, Eat the meat, spit out the bones. That saying has helped me curate my life better. What I have recognized is that I used to be quite closed off as well, as a protection mechanism.
Yeah.
I was always under the impression that I had to protect myself, which is fine, but when you don't open yourself up for delicious moments, delicious hugs, people that you could connect with, just because you're so deeply focused on protecting yourself, you do miss out on a lot. And I think that was feeding into my loneliness, that I was protecting myself from the world. I would give, but I wouldn't allow myself to receive. And that's not me this year. This year and for the rest of my life, I'm receiving. I'm going to send me something, I'm receiving it.
That's really a beautiful place to come to, where you are allowing other people in a way to pour into you as well, because you are always the one that is pouring and giving. And it's nice to say, you know what, I'm going to allow myself to actually receive.
Amen.
It's beautiful. What do you think connects us as human beings?
Hunger. Hunger, not just for food, but hunger for...
God forbid, for food.
That was a good joke.
Yeah.
Hunger in the sense of, say you're a father and you've sacrificed, your time, your energy, and then your child says, Papa, I see you, thank you for all your sacrifice. That hunger, you didn't even know you were hungry for those words. And then your child says that, affirming your sacrifice, affirming the late nights when you were working or whatever. And life doesn't always have to be about struggle, right, or hunger. But I do think hunger and struggle, it does unite us. Because and I don't want that to be the only thing. I want to be united to my next of kin with delicious moments of music and dancing and sharing the human experience. But ultimately, I think the first thing that unites us is struggle and hunger. And I think we should all be hungry for our own lives to be filled with the best types of experiences. Fashion, people, makeup, whatever makes you happy, be hungry for it. And then eat, eat. And there was this new saying, oh, she ate. And then it's her walking into the room, looking the part, saying the right thing. That's how you eat. So for me, I think we should all eat much more.
But where do you think we then get it wrong? Where does the world get it wrong?
The world gets it wrong because we don't give ourselves enough permission. We don't, that moment
and
you
not
had...
giving ourselves permission, we don't give other people permission to be.
Exactly. That moment you had before the big moment,
Yes.
the announcement,
Yeah.
you couldn't give yourself permission because you were thinking about your mother. But what happens when you win? What happens when you bring in the money? How does that change everybody's perspective? And I've decided that maybe it went wrong with the fact that we didn't give ourselves or others permission. It was because somebody had told us that. Don't want too much. Don't make too much noise. There's a saying, don't make too many sudden movements. Just stay. And I obviously think that is what is feeding into what poor America is going through and the horrible situation that it's going to create now for many communities in America. And most probably what's going to happen in a lot of African countries as well, based on looking to America. But for me, now is the time to fight. Now is the time to give ourselves permission. More than ever before. Give yourself permission to wave that flag. Give yourself permission to go for it. And if you flop, you flop. At least you tried. But you're not going to sit still and say, let me rather be small. There's no space for small. We can die tomorrow. Yeah. I think that should be our mantra for 2025.
Yeah, and actually...
No space for small.
Yes. And I think... I love the way that you've just articulated it, because unfortunately nobody is coming to give you permission to be anything. So it's you sitting by yourself and say, I do give myself permission to be great.
100%.
I do give myself permission to try out new things. I give myself permission to fail and then try again.
Yes.
Because nobody is coming to hand you that permission, unfortunately. And I think you articulated very well.
Thank you, David. Because the beginning of the year, I was already, as much as I was hyping myself up, most imposter syndrome is real. And I was sending out a quote to a billionaire, right? And because they hadn't responded fast enough, I had then reduced the quote because I thought, they're not replying because the quote is too high. And I had then reduced the value of my work, the value of my service, because I was too insecure in my value. And that's a thing that will never happen again. I will never, ever dispute my own value and the value of my artists. You don't pay for that one song that they sing. You pay for the years they've been singing, crafting their guitar playing, crafting their vocals, the control, the look, the essence. Because people always think, you're just paying for that one song. No, my dear, you're paying for my likeness. You're paying for everything that I've done to get here and give you a flawless service. And that's something I didn't recognize when I sent in a new quote out. And they had already paid, but because my SMS thing wasn't working to say that I had received the money, I had then already sent a reduced invoice. And then, because they had already paid, and because I said, okay, maybe there was a miscommunication, but you can rather pay this amount, they then asked for a refund. And that feeling is the worst feeling in the world when you know you deserved a higher amount, but you had imposter syndrome, and then you sent a lower amount, and now you have to refund your own value. That will never happen to me again.
But how do you do? Because a lot of us do suffer from that. But how have you been able to navigate through it?
You have to feel you have to feel like you just jumped off a cliff, and then you recognize, I'm never allowing that feeling again. This is my price. You can't pay it. Even if you're a billionaire, you don't deserve my service. And even if you don't eat as well that month, you don't eat as well that month, it's fine. You will eat properly the next time. Because you cannot dispute your value, especially internally. You must know your value. And if it takes somebody to come and give you a cop clap, like I had to give myself a cop clap, I was like, Lize Ehlers. And even just with my name, David, I know I'm ranting now, but so many people call me Liz. That's not my name. My name is Lize Ehlers. If I can say Hifiki Punye Pohamba, you can say Lize Ehlers. Because if we can all learn somebody's name out of respect, why am I allowing the disrespect of you calling me Liz or Liza or Ryan? You know, that's even how my DJ name was called. DJ Lize Ehlers. Because nobody could say Liza. But you can say Liza if you just work a little bit on it, right? It's not rocket science.
Yeah.
And again, it was a dispute of my value. Like, it was okay for other people just to call me by somebody else's
And then
name.
be like, it's fine.
It's fine. It's not fine. I am Lize Ehlers. Google it. Ask Google to pronounce it for you or something. But from a long time, I've recognized that I need to put my foot down when people call me Liz. It's not my name.
Yeah.
It's not my name.
That's beautiful. And this has truly been a beautiful session. I know I have so many questions, but one more question. What do you want people to know or understand about your life?
I would like people to know and understand that I served my country. I know I sound like a soldier and the officer in the barracks, but the reality is I've had to be a freedom fighter for women of color, because people don't see me as a woman of color. They see me, they call me Shirumbo all the time. I'm like, maybe it's the blonde hair. But I would like you to recognize that I am Zulu, German, colored mix. Therefore, I'm a woman of color, and I've learned the language of our colonizer because my father was half German. And the fact that my grandfather had to fight for Hitler in the Second World War is something that hurts my heart. But my grandfather didn't have a choice because he was conscripted, just like all other soldiers were conscripted. And I would like people to recognize that I put value on my life and my family's heritage, on the people in my life. I put value to their lives. And that's why I want to add value. I want to add value to your show by appearing on it and talking to you, because I trust your service. I trust what you're doing. And for me is something that I learned recently, I would like people to learn about me, is that I now understand that I have permission. That Lize Ehlers gave permission to herself and therefore to others to live big lives. That is what I truly want the world to know about me.
That is truly phenomenal, Lize, and I cannot thank you enough for the amount of knowledge that you have, first of all, and self-awareness, because you are able to communicate the way that you communicate, because these are not stories that you read. These are experiences that you have lived, but also these are moments that you've thought, you know what, I want something for myself. And in giving that to myself, I can then give it to the next person. And I think you've been able to give so much because you have had so much. And just an extraordinary life. Thank you so much.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
This has been Uninterrupted.